My kid overheard something at night and now keeps telling strangers about it. I'm not okay. I learned the hard way that kids hear everything. And I mean everything. One night, my husband and I finally had a quiet moment after a long day. The house was silent. The dishes were done. Our son was supposedly asleep, and we were just talking in our bedroom, laughing a little louder than usual, having one of those rare adult conversations you only get after bedtime. At some point I raised my voice because my husband startled me, and I remember saying, "Oh my God, stop," and laughing right after. I didn't think anything of it. The next morning, we're standing in line at Starbucks. It's packed. People everywhere. My son is holding a cake, pop and staring at me like he's been waiting for this moment his entire life. Out of nowhere, at full volume, he says, "Mommy, why were you yelling in your room last night when Daddy wasn't there?" I swear time slowed down. The woman in front of us turned around. The barista stopped typing. My soul left my body. I tried to stay calm and said quietly, "Buddy, we don't talk about nighttime stuff in public." He nodded very seriously, then immediately followed up with, "But you said stop and Daddy said relax and then you laughed." I wanted to disappear into the espresso machine. I leaned down and whispered, "We were just talking, okay?" He thought about that for a second and said, "Oh, because it sounded like when I yell on the roller coaster." Now two people were openly staring. Then he added, "Are grown-ups allowed to scream in their rooms?" I said, "Sometimes." He said, "Cool, because you sounded weird." Weird. On the drive home, he kept asking questions. Why do adults stay up late? Why do parents lock their doors? Why does Daddy act funny when Mommy is mad? I answered everything in the most neutral way possible while silently regretting every sound I've ever made after PM. But it didn't end there. Later that week, we're at the playground. I'm talking to another mom while our kids play. My son runs over and loudly announces, "This is my mommy." She screams at night. The other mom just blinked. I laughed awkwardly and said, "He means when I watch scary movies." My son shook his head and said, "No, when Daddy is in the room." I picked him up and walked away mid-conversation. That night, I finally asked him why he keeps telling people about it. He looked genuinely confused and said, "I thought it was important because you sounded like you needed help." And that's when I realized my child didn't embarrass me on purpose. He thought he was being responsible. Parenting is wild.